I want you to picture an operations manager. She is brilliant at her job, knows her department inside and out, but she's completely stuck. Day in and day out, she is chained to this mind-numbing manual process. You can just watch the clock tick by. 9 a.m., she's copying data from an inbox. By 11 a.m., she's pasting it all into a spreadsheet. 2 p.m., she's got to cross-reference a whole other system. And then at 4 p.m., she's manually drafting and sending out a dozen notification emails. She has this fantastic idea to automate the whole thing, save hundreds of hours a year. But her request, it's number 247 in the IT queue. The wait time? 8 months. And look, this isn't just her story. It's this quiet crisis of lost potential. And it's happening in thousands of organizations right now. So it makes you ask the big question, right? Why are the best ideas, the ones that come from the people who actually do the work, always stuck in a line, just waiting for someone else to build them? The people who understand the problem the best are the ones least equipped with the technical tools to solve it. And that creates this painful, frustrating gap between knowing what needs to be done and actually getting it done. It's a gap where great ideas and, honestly, employee morale just go to die. And this delay, it isn't just about one person's to-do list being too long. No, this is a fundamental, structural problem with how a lot of organizations run. We call it the automation bottleneck. It's a system-wide issue that just throttles innovation right at the source, and it stops companies from becoming faster, smarter, and way more efficient. Now, if you look at the data behind this, it's pretty staggering. A huge study by IBM found that 1 in 5 organizations simply doesn't have employees with the right skills to develop or even manage modern AI and automation tools. Just let that sink in. 20% of companies are basically locked out of the next huge wave of productivity, not because they want to be, but because of a skills gap they just can't close fast enough. So this skills gap, this is what creates the bottleneck we're talking about. You've got the business teams, the ops managers, the finance analysts. They know exactly what they need, but they're forced to try and translate their needs and hand them off to these totally overstretched IT departments who are the only ones who speak the complex language of code and APIs. The whole system is just designed for delay, for miscommunication, and for a lot of frustration on both sides. And believe it or not, the problem gets even more complicated. A recent Zapier survey found that a whopping 78% of enterprises are actively struggling just to get AI to work with their existing systems. So even when a company invests in these powerful new tools, they just hit a wall of technical complexity. The new tech won't talk to the old tech, and that dream of seamless automation, well, it quickly turns into another long-term, resource-draining IT project. And this right here, this illustrates that divide perfectly. On one side of this giant chasm, you have pure business intent. We need to solve this customer issue faster. Let's eliminate this manual error. It's clear, it's valuable. But on the other side, you've got the technical reality, that 8-month backlog, the need for specialized coding skills, and a handful of experts who are already completely swamped. This chasm between knowing what to do and being able to actually do it is where progress just grinds to a halt. But what if you could build a bridge across that chasm? What if you could empower the person with the idea to build the solution themselves and do it safely and reliably? This is where our story really shifts. We're moving away from the problem and we're heading straight for the solution. It's about creating a totally new path where business intent can become a working reality directly. So I'd like you to meet Okachamara. The name actually comes from an Igbo word that means expert in all things, and that philosophy is really at the heart of the whole platform. This isn't just another tool with a dashboard and a bunch of buttons. It is designed from the ground up to be your in-house automation consultant, a trusted expert partner, delivered as software. So how does this expert actually work with you? Well, it all starts right here on the canvas. In what we call the intent view, you don't write any code. You don't have to configure a bunch of complex settings. You just describe what you want to happen in plain English, one step at a time. You're building a visual flow diagram of your idea. The whole focus is on the what, not the technical how. Think of it like a blueprint for your process, built using your expertise. But here's where it gets really, really powerful. With just a single click, that simple, easy-to-read diagram toggles into what we call the Observatory view. And suddenly, every single step in your blueprint just lights up with deep technical detail. You can see the projected costs, you can pinpoint which step is causing a delay, you can even view the underlying data schemas. It's like a Jarvis-style teardown of your automation, giving you this incredible insight and control, but only when you ask for it. The complexity is all there, but it's on demand, not in your way. Now, this isn't just about drawing a diagram. Okachamara guides you through a whole process of consultation, construction, and this is the most important part, verification. This is the core loop that's going to turn your good idea into a robust, enterprise-ready automation. Let's see it in action. Imagine a user adds a really crucial step to their process. It's a simple, common-sense instruction. Notify the right person. Now, in most automation tools, this is where you'd be sent digging through documentation pages to start scripting some complex if-then-else rule. But Okachamara does something totally different. Its AI consultant responds not with a command prompt, but with questions. It starts to probe for that hidden business logic, all those unstated assumptions that just live in your head. It forces you to be clear. It asks, how is the right person determined? Is it based on the invoice amount, the region? What data do you need to make that decision? And how should they be notified? Email, Slack, SMS? This is a real consultation, making sure every step is rock solid before it's ever built. And get this, while this simple, clear conversation is happening on your screen, something pretty remarkable is going on behind the scenes. A silent team of specialized AIs, part of what we call the Nexopolis Engine, is pressure testing your logic in real time. They're hunting for edge cases, potential failures, and security loopholes you haven't even thought of yet. It's like having an expert engineering team reviewing your work as you go. Okay, so this all sounds great, but it leads to the single most important question in the entire world of AI-powered automation. How can you be sure? How do you actually trust that the AI understood what you wanted and built the right thing, especially when the stakes are high? The answer is verification, not blind trust. Before your automation ever goes live, you run what's called a dry run. Okachamara takes your new process and tests it against your own historical data, real invoices, real customer tickets, and the results are laid out in plain English. It shows you exactly what would have happened. 185 records handled perfectly. 12 of them would have gone a different way than you expected, and 3 would have just failed outright. You don't just hope it works, you prove it works. All right, so you've built your automation, you've proven it works. Now what? How do you manage it day to day? Well, this next phase is all about giving you total, on-demand visibility into what you've created. It completely gets rid of that black box problem that makes so many automated systems so hard to trust and maintain. Remember that silent team of AI experts? Let's formally meet them. The Nexopolis Engine uses this cool team of rivals approach. First, you've got the advocate AI. It makes the strongest possible case for why your design is great and will work. Then, the skeptic AI's entire job is to attack that design, looking for every possible weakness or edge case. Finally, the curator AI takes both of those opposing views and gives you clear, actionable, ranked recommendations. This multi-agent debate is just way more robust and reliable than any single AI could ever be. So, what does this actually mean in the real world? Well, on the left here, you see these common, super technical failures that make automations break or run up huge costs. These are the headaches that developers deal with every single day. But Okachamara's design inherently prevents them. The AI consultant catches configuration errors during your conversation. The Observatory flags potential cost overruns before you even run it. And the dry run spots flawed logic before it ever touches a live system. It's a complete system of built-in safeguards. And this brings us to the core philosophy, the big idea that really changes everything. You know, a lot of companies today will sell you access to automation tools, but access just isn't enough. Access without confidence, without verification, and without control is just another source of stress. The goal here is fundamentally different. If you look at the automation market today, you see a few high-cost, high-complexity platforms serving a tiny sliver of giant companies at the very top. But the vast majority of the market, mid-sized companies, public sector organizations, municipal departments, they are completely unserved. They've been priced out and locked out by all that complexity. Okachamara is built specifically for them. So let's go back to our operations manager from the beginning. Before, she was looking at an 8-month wait. She was totally dependent on other people to solve a problem she understood better than anyone. Now, with this new approach, she can take her idea from a concept in her head to a fully verified, production-ready automation in about 30 minutes. She isn't just a user of a system anymore, she's an empowered builder. She went from requesting automation to actually creating it. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. True, lasting transformation doesn't come from just giving people access to powerful tech. It comes from giving people, the real experts doing the work every day, complete and total ownership of their own automation. It's a shift from dependency to empowerment. So the final question is, what would you build if you truly had that power?